Net neutrality, net neutrality, net neutrality. I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to propose a little theory. Now, a lot of the people who want this net neutrality thing, you ever think of the possibility that maybe the purpose of net neutrality, maybe net neutrality is a scheme by the major internet companies to consolidate internet services into a public utility essentially owned by the collective, by the government, like water or roads, other public utilities. It's a scheme by the internet companies because a company, there is no greater dream for a company than for it to be absorbed by the government into a public utility where citizens are forced to pay for the service via taxation. That is a company's dream. Companies don't want to have to viciously compete against other internet companies, desperately competing to come up with the best marketing strategies and provide the best services in order to win a consumer's dollar when a consumer can choose this company or that internet company or that internet company or that internet company. You'd be surprised when you become so powerful, and in fact, when you become so powerful that there's 5, 6, 7 or so really big internet companies, they're kind of all at the same level. And you know what? It would be a dream come true for all of those companies, even though they seem to be in pretty, insane competition with each other. One thing they do have in common is a desire to put down their economic firearms, to stop competing with one another and be consolidated into a government public utility where taxpayers are forced to pay for the service, meaning it's a guaranteed income for these companies. They no longer have to be constantly competing with each other. Hell, they probably don't even have to spend money on a marketing budget anymore. Marketing is one of the most competitive elements of the marketplace, trying to persuade consumers to choose your product over the other guys. Millions, billions of dollars spent in marketing. You won't have to do any of that. None of these companies won't have to worry about marketing budgets anymore. That'll save them God knows how much money. Because if it's a consolidation and they're basically all collectively turned into a public utility where taxes are forcefully taken from citizens to pay for the service, meaning even if the service sucks, you have to pay for it. Have you ever stood in line at the post office? Have you ever tried calling the IRS to get help on something? The IRS will break down your front door if you don't send them all the money you owe them. But if you ever have to call them because their archaic fucking system of trying to pay taxes or trying to get answers to questions, they don't accept email. There's no online chat. You have to call them, wait on the phone for 30 minutes, and then they tell you got to send them a letter in the mail. It's like, what year are you living in? If you've ever had to stand in line at the post office, if you've ever had to call the IRS, then you know what it's like to deal with a government service. That's your experience at the post office is exactly what would happen in the internet if the internet was turned into a public utility, was basically taken over by the government so it can be free for the average people. Supposedly going to be free. It won't be free. It won't be free because nothing is technically free when it's forcibly taken by taxes. It will hurt you somewhere down the line. It's probably in terms of the overall state of the country you live in.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
So people trying to make it seem like, oh, net neutrality is about it's for the internet freedom. It's to prevent companies from all these terrible practices. Companies that are in competition with each other have to do the best they possibly can to provide the best services at the best prices. They have to, because if you as a consumer have the choice to go to another company that just charges $3 less a month, a lot of people are going to go with the guy charging $3 less a month. I hate to say it, as many downsides as there are to a competitive free market environment, it is the only thing that keeps services like the internet competitive, cutting edge, convenient, and well priced in the marketplace. So again, I'd like to put forward the theory that net neutrality is a scheme by the major internet companies to turn internet into a public utility, because that is every corporation's dream come true. You no longer have to compete. You are funded forcibly through taxation. So even if your service starts to suck, even if internet service providers become the new fucking post office, where are you going to go to, bro? Where are you going to go to if net neutrality has turned internet into a public utility? There will be no alternative when you have no choice in the internet that you have to use, and even worse, you have to fucking pay for. Turning the internet into a public utility, which is effectively what net neutrality would be, if only in its first step, in its first iteration. Of course, the next iteration from there is to go all the way and turn it into a public utility. So net neutrality is a fucking scam. I hate to say it. It like so many other things, it comes packages. Oh, it's for the small guy. It's for the little guy. It's not. It's a scheme by the major internet companies. That's my hunch. That's how these sort of free market merging into corporatocracies have worked every time throughout history.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
Fight back against YouTube censorship by supporting me on Patreon. You'll also get access to exclusive, never-before-seen videos and other perks like monthly Google Hangouts